Please be seated. The court is now back in session, and before the chamber hand the floor to the lead co-lawyers for civil parties to continue questioning this civil party. The chamber would like to give the floor to Judge French on the time that has been used this morning. Judge French, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm addressing Defense Counsel for Khieu Samphan. This pertains to what you said this morning about the request to classify as strictly confidential certain documents. Just to clarify issues, you asked basically for two things. One was to classify the reports as strictly confidential, and the other one was to classify the emails that were written due to the request of the court for additional information. Now, do we agree, or do I understand it correctly, that when it comes to the reports, your request does not pertain to the conclusions that were discussed widely and openly in court here? And you didn't object to it?
Based on the findings that Mr. Khieu Samphan is indeed fit to follow his proceedings, there is absolutely no objection to that particular conclusion.
President, Judge friends, please continue.
Yeah, my second question pertains to the emails sent by the experts and put on the case file pertaining to the incidents, the January incidents, and the schedule. Is there any problem? They have been discussed basically word by word today. So is there any problem with their classification as public?
The first.
Generally speaking, Your Honor, Mr. Kyo Sompong, even though today he has demonstrated some leeway given the context, he does have a preference to not allow these documents be public. I think the proceedings as they are recorded are largely sufficient at this particular stage.
So you formally uphold your request to rule these emails as to classify these emails as strictly confidential?
Absolument.
Absolutely.
President, the Chamber would like to hand the floor once again to the assigned lawyer for civil parties to continue putting questions to this civil party. You may proceed. And we would like to remind you that you only have one session of this afternoon hearing, inclusive of the time for the prosecution. You may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. That is indeed our intention to finish the questioning in one session before the break, both from our side and from the prosecution side. Okay, good afternoon, Your Honors, and good afternoon, Madam Monsopani. Before we break yesterday, we were discussing your experience in the hospital. Now, I wish to continue on this subject. Did any of your family members were sent to hospital?
Yes.
Can you tell us which one?
It was my elder sister.
What happened to her afterwards? After she was sent to hospital?
She was seriously sick, and she had infection on her foot, and she was then sent to the Pang Ong Hospital. I rather correct it. It's a Trapang Kul, not Trapang Ong.
Okay, thank you, Madam Ong. Let me ask, did she survive after she was sent to hospital? Did she die in the hospital?
She died at the hospital.
And were you with her when she died?
No, I was not with her.
Did any of your family member was with her when she died?
No, I did not know who was with her.
So, did you want to stay with her when before she passed away?
Of course, we were siblings, blood siblings. I wanted to stay close to her before she died so that she could close her eyes. But we were not allowed by the medical staff.
And did you visit her before she died?
Yes, I did.
Did you need a permission to visit her?
I was not allowed to go. They said that there was already medical staff there.
So in fact, how did you know she passed away?
Several days after, a villager told me that my elder sister died, and then I wept quietly alone in the middle of the rice field.
Thank you, Madam Mom. I move on now to the next topic. When answering Mr. President's question yesterday, where was you during the Khmer Rouge period of time? You gave a location. It's called Trabe. Well, I will try my best. Trabe Tong Tbon Commune and Trabe Tong Ro Village. Did you always stay there during the Khmer Rouge period of time?
Yes. I stayed there for the entire period of the Khmer Rouge regime.
Okay. And when you were there, was your sister there as well, staying with you?
My elder sister also lived in the Trapeng Thum commune together with me.
Thank you. And is it correct that you visit your sister while she was in the hospital?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. And did you remember what did you see on the road to the hospital?
While I traveled through the hospital, the road was quiet. There were ox carts. I didn't know what it was transporting, and because my elder sister could not walk, then she was put on an ox cart.
So did you see any people on the road when you go to visit her?
No.
How long did you stay with her when you were visiting her?
I stayed there only during the rest period, so it was probably around 1 or 1.5 hours that I had to return back to my work site, and the hospital and where I worked was rather far, and I had to walk on foot.
Thank you, Madam. And do you remember how many times were you allowed to visit her?
I cannot recall it well, but I recall that for one visit I asked for permission and it was denied because I was told that there were already medical staff there.
Okay, I will move on then, Madam. Where did you stay when you were first in Tram Kok, when you were evacuated from Phnom Penh?
When I left Phnom Penh, I went to Trapang Thom Bong commune, and that Prokip village was where I stayed, and that village was the native village of my parents-in-law, and I stayed with them.
So I take it that you were staying with your parents-in-law while you first arrived in Tram Kok.
Yes, I did.
Did you always stay in that house afterwards?
I stayed with my parents for a while, and it was a rather large house. Angka made me a house for me to stay at the Trapang Ong village. All new people were gathered to live there so that it's easier for them to control us.
Okay. Can you describe this house Anka asked you to stay, or asked the new people to stay? What does it look like?
Angka made the structure of the house for us to stay, and we, the new people, had to use like coconut leaves to make up the wall for the house, and there were no furniture in the house, no beds, nothing at all. There was no toilet. It was just a framed structure.
Did you stay there afterwards as well? Or should I ask, did you move out of that house afterwards?
Not long after, new people were gathered again to come and live with the best people. And my parents-in-law's house was dismantled to make a kitchen, and I had to live among the best people. And of course, when we were living with the best people, we did not dare to talk about our past memory. We pretended to be deaf. We only talked whenever it was necessary to do so.
Madam Mong, yesterday you testified that you were sent to work in the model rice field. Was the rice field model rice field? Was it very far from this place you are now staying?
Some workplaces were near the village, while others were far. At one point, we were asked to work at the farm 160 near the base of the mountain, so we had to bring some tools and equipment to work there because we had to stay there.
So you actually stayed in the rice field, is that right? When you were working around this mountain 160?
It was called a work site.
Thank you very much, Madam Mong. Mr. President and Your Honors, at this point I would like to show our documents to Madam Mong. It's a page from her diary. I will read first the ERN number. The ERN for the Khmer is 01032-953. English translation 010-36463-2464. French 010-36481 to 482. Can the court officer also please give a copy of this document to Madam Monsopani?
អរគុណអនុញ្ញាត
Yes, you may proceed.
I'm waiting this document to be uploaded into the screen. But Madam Mon, can you take a look at this document? The first line, the one, yes, now it's on the screen. So in the first line, under the date 1975, February 9th, what did you write here?
ថ្ងៃ
The date was 9 February 1976, and I wrote, I came and lived in Prokip Kang Tbong village, a dining hall.
Thank you. Thank you. So the date was 1976, February 9th. Thank you very much. What about the... there is 2 boxes on this page. Can you take a look at the second box? What did you write on the next date in that box? On June the 3rd, 1976.
It's the 3rd of June 1976, and I wrote as a collective eating.
បានសេចក្តីថាហូបបាយ
It means that we ate a meal communally.
Thank you very much, Madam Mon. So, when you write that you were living together in a dining hall, can you maybe elaborate that? Explain to us what is the dining hall like, and when you were living there, how many families were living together?
Eating communally in the cooperative means that we ate in a long kitchen hall, and for one group, there were 4 of us. We were given a plate of rice with water lily soup, and we ate communally together.
Madam, I was asking, well, thank you for explaining us about the collective eating, but I was first asking, can you maybe explain also, on February the 9th, when you were assigned to live together in a dining hall, what was the situation there? What does this dining hall looks like?
Collective eating means both the old, the best, and the new people ate at the communal dining hall, and there were many people who went to have meals there. And for each group, there were 4 of us. We were given a plate of rice and soup, just a bowl of soup, and that was the only dish that we were given. It's the same thing for the rice. It was just a plate of rice and no more.
Madam, let me show you another document, maybe. Your Honor, I would like to show Madam a document of her book, When Will I Ever Meet Again? I will first read out the ERN. The ERN for the Khmer was 0056 2844 to 845. There was 2 pages. And the English translation was 010-37-336. French translation ERN 010-37-344. Can I put these two pages on the screen and give it to Madam Mong?
អង្គជំរះអនុញ្ញាត
Yes, you may proceed.
Madam Mong, on the first, there was 2 pages. On the first page, I showed it to you. I believe it's page 87. There are a couple of dates on that page. Can you tell us what is the last date on that page, the one I'm showing you now?
The date which is shown on the screen is 9th February 1976. Angka made a new plan, that is, mixing the new people.
Let me do the question one by one, otherwise it may get confused. So the date was February 9th, 1976. No, you're right in the first page, Madam Mong. In the first page, the last date, I wish to confirm with you. That is February 9th, 1976.
It's the 9th February, not the 9th September.
Yes, that is the 9th February 1976, right? Okay, is that the same date? Okay, Madam, is that the same date of the page we just showed you, your original diary? There was 2 dates on your original diary, remember? The diary is still next to you, I think. The first date was February the 9th, 1976. Was it right?
Yes, indeed. That is the extract from my diary, and I just expanded a little bit further based on my recollection at the time.
Thank you very much. So it's the same incident you write on this under these 2 dates, under the same date in 2 different documents. One is your diary, one is your book. Is that right?
Answer, that is correct.
Okay, since we already know what you write in your diary, maybe you can read out what you write here in your book. Under the date 1976, February the 9th. Can you just read it out?
Answer, yes, I could read. 9 February 1976. Angka made a new plan, mixing the new people with the base people. We, the new people, left Tropiang Ang village. So my family lived with the new and base people. We lived together in the kitchen of the people in Prokiep Khang Bong. They mobilized us in such a way so that it was easy for them to work and to control us. If we lived with the new people, we could secretly talk about or recall the old memories when we lived in Phnom Penh. Unfortunately, Since we lived with the base people, we had to keep silent like mutes, like the deaf. We only use our eyes to watch the road ahead, the work sites, and our mouth to eat and speak about important things.
Now, with all these incidents we discussed about the moving, your living, and eating arrangement we just discussed, who made the decision?
Cứ xuất
Answer: it was Angka, the upper echelon, because the subordinates never said that they gave the order. They always refer to the upper echelon who made the decision.
Thank you, Madam Ong. At this point, I wish to show the last exhibit to Madam Ong and finish the question with this exhibit. So its exhibit number, Khmer, is 0056-2857. English translation ERN 010-37338. And French translation 010-37346. Your Honor, may I give these documents to Madam Ong?
President, your request is granted.
Madam Ong, I'm showing you now is page 100 of your book, a diary entry of you on November 18th, 1976. Can you read out what you write here?
Dạ bạn. Sắpថ្ងៃបើនិយាយតាម
Every day, frankly speaking, we appear to live unhappily because I did not have energy as other, or perhaps I was sick and tired of this regime. I could not dare to sing, dance, speak, laugh loudly. Our regular routine activities were sleeping, working, and eating.
Thank you, Madam Ong. Do you remember what is this date, November 18th, 1976? Let me ask you this way, Madam Ong, if you don't. Was that your 30th birthday? You were born on November 18th. Is that right?
ត្រឹមត្រូវ
Answer: that is correct.
Thank you very much, Madam Ong. Your Honors, I have concluded my questionings. I will now give the floor, if I may, to the prosecution. Thank you.
President, thank you. Counsel, Mr. Kope, you may now proceed.
One clarification for counsel. Maybe I failed to follow it properly, but where did you see the date of November 18, 1976? Because in the English translation it doesn't seem to appear.
I'm sorry, I don't have the English translation with me. May I check and refer it back to you then? Thank you.
President, now the chamber wishes to hand over the floor to the co-prosecutor so that the co-prosecutor have time to ask questions. Co-prosecutor. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Your Honors, my name is Seng Liang. I am the Deputy Co-Prosecutor. I have a few questions for Madam Civil Party concerning situation at hospital. And I will ask question also about transporting prisoners, and also the topic in my questioning concerns model farms. And if I have time, I would go to ask further topics, a few more topics. To begin, I would like to refer to the trial transcript yesterday, when you responded to the question by a civil party counsel at time 14:45:00. At that time, the counsel asked you to tell the court that when you entered the hospital to deliver your baby, could you describe what were the services provided by the hospital and what were medicines were given to you? Your answer is, I quote, the medics there, the medic at the place called Tropangkul. Actually, that place was not the hospital. It was a makeshift hospital in a pagoda. And just now, I heard a civil party lawyer asking you about your elder sister who was admitted into a hospital. You mentioned about a hospital in Tropangkul district. Could you confirm whether Tropangkul district hospital and Tropangkul hospital the same? Answer. Tropangkul hospital and hospital in Tropangkul district was the same. As I said, it was a makeshift hospital in a school. Question. Could you once again tell the court where was the hospital, and was it under the district level or the commune level? Answer. I heard the name Tropangkul Hospital and I do not know whether it was under commune or district levels. Question. Could you tell the court when you were admitted into hospital to deliver your baby, how many patients were there? Answer. There were patients in the hospital. The hospital was full of patients. And for those who had just recovered, they left the hospital, and for others, they would be admitted into hospital. Question. Could you inform the court, were there any based people, patients? Were there any distinction between the base people and new people in the hospital? I want to say that the care and the care from the medic, was it the same or different? Answer. I did not know about the care or heart of the medics. What I knew was that I was admitted into that hospital.
តើលោកស្រីអាចប្រាប់បានទេ
Question: Could you tell the court during the time you were hospitalized, were there any leaders, for example, leaders of commune or district, had their relative wife be admitted into hospital?
ចាខ្ញុំ
Answer: I presume that there were relatives and wives of those leaders in the hospital. I heard there was one lady who was the wife of the committee member. I do not know the committee member here refer to whom. She had wild animal meats to eat for her meal.
អរគុណលោកស្រីតើ
Question: Thank you, Madam. Could you inform the court where did the patient eat their meal?
អ្នកជំងឺ
Answer: Patient has to eat in a communal hall. Only a serious patient who were allowed to eat in the hospital.
តើក្នុង
Question: How many meals per day were they allowed to eat? And were the meals sufficient for patients?
មួយថ្ងៃ
Answer: They had 2 meals per day. During lunchtime and in the afternoon. In the afternoon here, it was perhaps at 4 p.m. As for food ration for patient, I believe when they had just rice and water lily soup, they did not have enough food and they did not want to eat such a meal.
បាញ់មិញលោកស្រី
Question: You refer to a lady who was the wife of a committee member. She had wild animal meats. So why she could have such a wild animal meats? Do you know the reason?
ខ្ញុំអត់ឃើញមាន
Answer: I did not see she got a full plastic bag of wild animal meat, but I could see that she could have that wild animal meat. I was eating bitter leaf with my elder sister. At that time, the lady looked at us while we were eating, and she presumed that we had night meal, so she exchanged the wild animal meat with the bitter leaf. And at that time, I realized that it was the wild animal meat, and it was very delicious. Co-prosecutor: I quote document D 25/32/48 in Khmer 00. Your Honor, could you please ask the co-prosecutor to repeat the EON in Khmer?
EON
Khmer EON EON in Khmer is 00 56 28 80. EON in English 01 03 73 40 241. EON in French 01 03 73 49. You stated that on the 10th of 9 on the 10th of the 9th of lunar calendar, that is in August 1977, the hospital issued a circular that all patients did not have the right to have the visitors. Only serious patients had the right to have the visitors. So do you know where the circular was from?
ខ្ញុំដឹង
Answer. I knew about the circular from the medics, and I did not know where it was from. Mic is not activated. Question. After the pronouncement of the circular, were there any impacts on patient and also on you? Answer. After that, there were no visitors coming to visit us. During the time I delivered the baby, I could not get out of bed for 10 days. And at that time, my husband came to help me. And after the pronouncement of the circular, he no longer visited me. Prosecutor. Thank you, Madam. I refer to another document, the 22/3248. EON in Khmer 00562905. EON in English 01037347. EON in French 01037551. This incident happened in late 1978 near Tropang Knaut commune. I would like to quote your statement as follows. Quote, late this year, I could witness that a prisoner were tightened together, young, old, male, and female. They will walk in queue to the south via Tropang Knaut village. Where were they taken to? There were a lot of prisoners arrested. Having witnessed this event, I trembled with fear alone. I did not dare to ask anyone, and I was standing still and speechless. Could you tell the court where were these prisoners taken to? Answer. This prisoner were walked to the south, and after liberation, I realized that the Krang Tajan security office was situated in that area. Prosecutor. Thank you, Madam. I move to another topic in relation to model farm. Yesterday at 14:03:03, when civil party lawyer posed a question to you concerning a model farmer. At the time, you responded as follows. Quote, because I said I was a model farmer, during the dry season I carried earth. I made roads, dug canals, make embankments, and dig pond. And there was a big pond in Tramkok district. That big pond, I was also involved in digging it. I built a road from Ang Roka to Ang Tasaum. Rather, I built road from Ang Tasaum to Ang Roka. I was also involved in the work of a model farm. Unquote. I have a question for you. Could you explain to the court what a model farm is? Answer. I am sorry, it was not a model farm. It's a model embankment. Perhaps I confused yesterday. It is called model embankment. Prosecutor, I heard you said model embankment, but have you ever heard in your commune about a model commune or model districts? Answer. I have never heard of model cooperative commune or district, but I have heard the term model house of Anka. Co-prosecutor. Thank you, Madam Civil Party. I have now the last question for you concerning your diary, document E32 E32.3.11 EON in Khmer 01 03 29 53 EON in French 01 03 64 81 EON in English 01 03 64 63. You wrote as follows: on the 17th March 1975, election. Could you tell the court why did you know that on the day there was election?
គឺខ្ញុំឮតា
Answer. I heard over the radio.
តើលោកស្រីបានចូល
Question. Was you involved in the election?
ខ្ញុំមិនបានចូល
Answer. I was not involved in the election.
តើលោកស្រីមានដឹងថាការបោះឆ្នោតនឹង
Question. Concerning the election, was there any propaganda during the election?
គ្មានទេ
Answer. No, there was no propaganda.
តើលោកស្រីមានដឹងថា
Question. Did you know anyone in your area stand for election?
ចាស់គ្មានទេ
Answer. No.
អរគុណលោកស្រីហើយអរគុណលោកប្រធានខ្ញុំបាទអស់សំណួរហើយ
Co-prosecutor. Mr. President, I have no further question. Thank you very much. President, you have the floor now, Mr. International Co-prosecutor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Madam Civil Party. I have just maybe 3 or 4 questions for you. Yesterday, you testified that you had a brother who was a lieutenant colonel who was taken away because he was a pilot. Can you tell us what the name was of that brother and where he was located when he was taken away?
Answer. It was not my biological father. He was my elder brother-in-law, the third elder brother-in-law. Susapiep was my elder sister, and this person named Hock Hain, he was a pilot. After he arrived at the place for 9 days, after 9 days, he was taken away. I did not witness his arrest. I could could only see my elder sister weeping, and my parent-in-law said that please do not cry. Thank you.
And can you located at the time your brother-in-law was taken away?
Answer. I was in my parents' house at Tropang Chumreu Commune, Tropang Thom Tbong District, Tropang Thom Tbong and Tamkot District.
You also mentioned yesterday a brother or brother-in-law named Su Nai, alias Su Sot, who was a doctor who you indicated you believe was killed at Tuol Slang. Can you tell us, first of all, was this a brother or brother-in-law? And where did he work and live as a doctor?
He just returned from his study in France. He actually got a scholarship to study in France, and he only arrived in Cambodia for 2 months. Then Phnom Penh dwellers were evacuated, and in the morning actually I went with him, and I did not know where he wanted to go to, because he said that the Khmer rules were cruel. In fact, at the beginning, he liked the Khmer rules, but later on he knew that the Khmer rules killed people, so he took us with him. But later on, I returned to my house, and he went somewhere. And only later on, when I read the Tuol Slang book published by the Ministry of Propaganda and Culture, it mentioned Su's name, alias Su Sot, who was a doctor, and he was actually my 5th brother-in-law, and he came from Battambang. So I believe that he went to Battambang during the Khmer Rouge regime, and he was taken to be killed at Tuol Slang. On page 37, his name appears first.
Thank you, Madame Civil Party. Mr. President, for the record, S21 prisoner list E3/3973 at Khmer page 00006623, English 00837-537, and French 00875-910 is a list titled List of Executed Prisoners from Health section. And number 4 on that list is a person identified as Su Sot, alias Su Nem, from Battambang, a doctor who entered S21 on the 1st of October 1975 and was executed on the 23rd of April 1976. I thank you for your time. We have no further questions, Your Honor.
President, thank you. The time is now appropriate for the afternoon break. We will take a 20-minute break and return at 10 to 3 in order to continue our proceeding. And the court officer, please assist the civil party and the support staff from TPO during the break and have them return to the courtroom at 10 to 3. The court is now recessed.